The Dior SS26 Shockwave. Why didn't HYBE celebrate Jimin's triumph? Dior Spring, Summer 2026, SS26, will be remembered as a defining moment in fashion history, a showcase of artistry, elegance, and global cultural resonance. Yet, amid the dazzling display of couture and celebrity presence, one figure captivated attention like no other: Park Jimin. From the instant he entered the venue, his aura commanded the gaze of photographers, journalists, and attendees alike. Every gesture, every nuanced movement, every subtle glance seemed to radiate an unspoken magnetism. Jimin was not merely a guest. He became the heartbeat of the event, embodying the very essence of Dior's vision in a way that no other figure could. The world celebrated him instantly. Yet, amidst the global acclaim, HYBE, the very company managing his career, remained unusually silent. This unexpected absence of recognition has ignited speculation, raising questions about corporate priorities and the dynamics between artist and management. To grasp the impact of Jimin's appearance, one must understand the scope of SS26. The fashion house presented a collection balancing tradition with contemporary aesthetics, relying on clean silhouettes, meticulous tailoring, and a restrained yet commanding palette. Against this backdrop, Jimin's presence transformed the runway into a narrative of human elegance. Dior understood that an ambassador of such stature does more than model clothes. They project a philosophy, a vision, a cultural statement. Every camera flash captured not just a celebrity in couture but an individual who defined grace, subtly reshaping the world's perception of beauty, poise, and artistry. Globally, reactions were immediate. Clips of Jimin entering the venue circulated within minutes across social media platforms, amassing millions of views. Fashion critics lauded his ability to convey poise without artifice, elegance without ostentation. Comparisons to historical figures of style emerged, yet many argued that Jimin had redefined the standard entirely, representing a new archetype of global fashion icon, where authenticity and charisma eclipse mere celebrity. In countless ways, he dominated the narrative, overshadowing even the most anticipated aspects of the SS26 collection. Yet, despite this overwhelming affirmation, HYBE's response was notably absent. No official statements, celebratory posts, or promotional amplification accompanied this defining moment. For a company whose reputation is tied to the global success of its artists, the silence is puzzling. The lack of recognition did not go unnoticed. Fans, social media commentators, and even cultural observers questioned the motivations behind this apparent indifference. Was this a calculated strategic choice, a focus on broader corporate narratives rather than individual achievement? Or did it hint at internal dynamics that prioritize collective branding over the recognition of personal triumphs? While speculation abounds, the silence itself has become a defining aspect of the story. The contrast between Dior's celebratory embrace and HYBE's muted stance highlights deeper implications about contemporary celebrity culture. Fashion houses, steeped in tradition and attuned to visual impact, immediately recognized the significance of Jimin's presence, amplifying it through official media channels. In doing so, Dior validated not just the artist but the moment itself, reinforcing the fusion of music, performance, and haute couture as a legitimate cultural force. HYBE, on the other hand, missed an opportunity to reinforce their role as stewards of one of the world's most influential figures. By remaining silent, they inadvertently allowed speculation, critique, and even doubt to fill the narrative space that could have been used to affirm Jimin's achievements. This silence has also underscored the evolving power dynamics between artists, management, and audiences in the digital age. Whereas traditional hierarchies once dictated which moments received attention, platforms like social media now empower fans to amplify significance. In the case of Jimin at Dior SS26, it was the global audience that ensured his triumph was visible, resonant, and immortalized. HYBE's absence only accentuated the artist's independence, demonstrating that while companies may facilitate careers, the true measure of influence lies in the artist's capacity to captivate and inspire organically. From a cultural perspective, Jimin's presence also symbolizes a broader shift in representation and global influence. For decades, luxury fashion was dominated by Western-centric narratives of beauty and elegance. Jimin's prominence at SS26, celebrated worldwide yet minimally acknowledged by his own management, highlights highlights the emergence of a truly globalized aesthetic, where talent, charisma, and authenticity define recognition more than geographical origin or corporate emphasis. This juxtaposition raises questions about the responsibilities of agencies in nurturing and celebrating talent that transcends national and cultural boundaries. Ultimately, Jimin's triumph at Dior SS26 is undeniable, independent of corporate celebration. The world bore witness to a performance of grace and authenticity, a moment where art, fashion, and persona converged. HYBE's silence, rather than diminishing this achievement, illuminates the gap between institutional priorities and the organic resonance of artistry. For fans and observers, the triumph remains absolute. It belongs to the artist, the audience, and the cultural moment itself. In this, the SS26 showcase is not merely a fashion event, it is a testament to the enduring power of individual brilliance, the limits of corporate control, and the timeless impact of grace. And the final analysis, HYBE's absence from the celebration may be as significant as any public recognition could have been. It serves as a reflection on the complex interplay between artist, management, and the global audience, highlighting that true triumph does not require permission or endorsement. It requires only authenticity, presence, and the capacity to leave the world breathless. Jimin achieved precisely that at Dior SS26, securing his place not just as a fashion icon, but as a cultural phenomenon whose influence transcends any corporate silence. Beyond the immediate spectacle of Dior SS26, the reverberations of Jimin's appearance continue to unfold, reaching far beyond the boundaries of the runway. In a world where moments are fleeting and attention spans are brief, the lasting impression of his presence highlights a rare convergence of artistry, cultural influence, and personal authenticity. Observers from around the globe were captivated, not solely by the elegance of the clothing or the carefully orchestrated choreography of a fashion show, but by the way Jimin seemed to transform the space around him. He became both subject and statement, a living embodiment of grace that defied conventional categorization. The perplexing silence from HYBE cannot be overlooked, for it juxtaposes sharply against this unprecedented acclaim. In an industry that thrives on visibility, recognition, and amplification of talent, the company's muted response raises questions not just about corporate priorities, but about the very framework through which they engage with their artists' global accomplishments. Was this decision a strategic exercise in collective branding, designed to minimize individual achievements? Or does it reflect internal conflicts, a misalignment between the artist's personal trajectory and the company's broader objectives? Regardless of the reasoning, the lack of acknowledgement has amplified scrutiny, compelling fans and industry insiders alike to speculate about underlying motives and structural dynamics within one of the world's leading entertainment agencies. In the digital age, the power to define and disseminate cultural significance has shifted. Platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok allow audiences to determine what is celebrated, often independently of institutional sanction. Jimin's triumph at Dior SS26 exemplifies this shift. While HYBE refrained from issuing official statements or promotional content, fans assumed the role of cultural amplifiers. Through posts, shares, and creative interpretations, they ensured that the moment was not only preserved but elevated, turning it into a global phenomenon. This democratization of recognition challenges the traditional hierarchy in which corporate validation dictates the narrative of success. It underscores the idea that in contemporary entertainment, authenticity and resonance often outweigh managed publicity. Analyzing the cultural significance further, Jimin's presence at Dior SS26 represents a profound shift in global fashion dynamics. Historically, haute couture has been dominated by Western ideals of elegance, aesthetics, and influence. Jimin's embodiment of Dior's vision demonstrates a recalibration of these paradigms, signaling the rise of an inclusive, international understanding of sophistication. Yet HYBE's silence, juxtaposed with this historic moment, suggests a tension between traditional corporate control and the artist's emergent global identity. It is a reminder that organizational structures can sometimes lag behind the cultural and artistic momentum generated by their own talents. Fans, recognizing the absence of corporate celebration, have not remained passive. Their engagement has taken on multiple forms, From meticulously curated social media campaigns to in-depth analyses of Jimin's appearance, demeanor, and sartorial choices, the collective response underscores not only admiration for the artist but also a protective instinct, ensuring that his achievements are publicly acknowledged even when institutional channels remain dormant. In this sense, HYBE's silence inadvertently catalyzed a grassroots recognition campaign, illustrating how fan communities have evolved into active participants in shaping the narrative of contemporary cultural icons. Moreover, the event exposes deeper philosophical questions regarding the nature of success and acknowledgement. Must triumph be validated by corporate recognition to hold weight? Or does true achievement reside in the authenticity of the act itself and the resonance it generates among observers?